Hey friends, it's Susan from legslikeMine.com. Now I know that with lipedema, diet is a taboo subject. We have been told for ages that it's not your fault. You didn't cause it. We hear it all the time. I heard it from my own surgeon, which I think is very comforting. But then I also, once he told me that, I swung crazy and I just ate anything I wanted and sugar and I put on weight even after having surgery. And so today I want to talk with you a little bit about owning our lipedema and taking some control of our nutrition, even though we know it's very hard and difficult to lose weight with lipedema. But you can be healthier, you can reduce your inflammation. I'm a month into trying to follow the guidance that's in this book. It's called the Lymphedema and Lipedema Nutrition Guide, and it's written by people that are actual researchers and practitioners in the lipedema world. You probably recognize some of the names on here. Chuck Ehrlich has presented at Fat Disorders Resource Society many times. He's got several books out about lymphedema and lipedema. Dr. Eicher, who we all know and love, Dr. Herbst, come on, that's a big name, y'all. Linda Ann Kahn, right? And then Felicity Dafter, who wrote the foreword, is the founder of the Lipedema Foundation. So this book is the real deal. And at first I thought, when I read it a long time ago, and I put it down because I was like, this is too hard. One of the first steps was, watch your sugar consumption. I'm a total sugar addict. I'm in the process of finishing a book called Sugar Mamas, where I actually went with 10 or 12 lipedema ladies, and we tried to get off sugar for 6 months, and I tell the story of all that. I didn't do very well, but some of the other ladies did, and that's what inspired me to go back and think, you know what, I'm going to reread this book. I've read it 4 times now in the last couple of months, and in the last 31 days now, my husband and I have followed this book as closely as possible and made some simple switches to our diet, which have not actually been very painful. So today I want to tell you about one thing specifically, which is not a big deal. It's not like you're making a sacrifice or anything. It's just you do better when you know better. So I love eggs. I love breakfast. Oh, I love breakfast. But I'm going to show you, look at these. So we're having scrambled eggs for breakfast, right? It's what I would normally have anyway. But look how golden, like deep yellow these are. And have you noticed lately that the eggs you get at the grocery store are not this golden yellow? They're more kind of pale and just kind of a bland color. That's because of what the chickens eat. It's crazy, I know. But we switched to eating eggs and meats that are grass-fed or free range. And that makes all the difference in the world. Not to get too incredibly technical about it, but the reason that we made this change is because they're less inflammatory, to just sum it up in a nutshell. And here's why. These eggs and meats that are grass-fed come from animals that eat the leaves of plants. There's something in the chlorophyll of plants that when these animals eat them, it changes their body composition to have the right ratio of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in their bodies, which means the meat and the eggs and the products that we get from these animals is also healthier for us. It's passing the omega-3s through to us. So when you're eating beef, for example, that comes from most fast food chains and just the standard beef you buy at the grocery store, those animals are fattened up on a feedlot. Like more than 90% of all the beef in the United States is fattened up on the feedlot. And what that means is they live their life someplace, and then before they're taken to be butchered, they spend like up to 100 days on this feedlot where all their job is to do is eat and get fat. But if you've ever seen these feedlots, they're just like a wasteland. Their cows are crammed in there really tightly, and there isn't any grass because there's so many animals there. And what they do all day long is they just eat grains that are sort of thrown over the fence into these troughs. And the grains don't have the leaves that have this chlorophyll in them. And so the animals actually change from having omega-3 fatty acids in their bodies. There's science that shows this. It goes down the longer they're on the feedlot, the more their fat in their body changes to omega-6 fatty acids. That's the bad fat. So what you want is animals that never went to a feedlot. They lived and ate on grass and plants, the way that sort of they happen naturally, right? And that means that when you get the beef, you consume it, or the eggs, or the chicken, or whatever animal it is, that you're actually taking in more omega-3 fatty acids. That is the good fat. And it's good for your body, and it's also anti-inflammatory. Where if you're loading up on omega-6s from eating just regular old beef or regular old chicken or whatever, eggs, you're actually causing more inflammation in your body. And it's not a big deal. Like if I want a hamburger, I have a hamburger, right? I cook it at home. I go to the store and I buy grass-fed beef, or I go even to the farmer's market, and literally the person who raised the cow on his property and took care of the butchering and everything himself sells me the beef. It's grass fed, right? And you'll if you this is just like, it's a simple swap. It's not even like, oh, I'm sacrificing so much because I had to eat grass fed eggs. No, just go buy the eggs that say grass fed on them and eat eggs, eat beef, eat, 6 to 8 times a week. You're having your protein from animal sources just like you were before, right? But you just made a simple swap. And yeah, it's a tiny bit more money, but it's still way cheaper than eating at a restaurant. And also, I mean, how much better do you feel when you're not all inflamed up and stuff because you are eating healthier food? We didn't even know. Like if I had known this before, I would have made the switch before. But this information was in the guide and I read it and I was like, let me go verify that. So I do this with everything. Trust but verify, right? I read about why you want to switch to grass-fed foods and why you want more omega-3s in your life. And then I went and verified it on the internet by reading papers and research papers and stuff, and it seems to be legit. I can say that in the month that Rob and I have made the change to this kind of, any kind of animal product, my inflammation has gone down quite a bit. Between the two of us, we've lost 35 pounds this month. Now, the other major change that we've made, which has been way harder than just swapping out what kind of beef and chicken we eat, is we've cut our sugar intake from multiple times a day of having what we called treats that we felt like we deserved, junk crap, to eating fruit. And we don't restrict how much fruit we eat. But just that change has made all the difference in the world. And now I'm not wearing makeup yet, but my skin is starting to clear up. I hate to say it, but there are other things happening in my body because we made those 2 changes. Oh, the third change that we made, y'all are going to hate this if you drink soda. We quit drinking soda. And now in the mornings, I drink a lovely cup of tea. I love it. I don't put sugar or anything in it, but we get those flavored teas they're flavored by way of mixing different teas together. They sell it to you that way because I'm not doing that. But those 3 changes have made all the difference in the world. But what we're not doing is depriving ourselves. Like we should never go to bed hungry. We should never wake up starving. We should never have like sugar crashes because we're not saying you can't have as much food as you feel that you need. We're just saying make these changes. And now all of a sudden the fruit tastes so sweet. It's crazy. In fact, the other day I was eating a grape at breakfast. We actually went out to a restaurant and ordered fruit for one of our sides. And I was like, oh, this grape is so sweet. It's really insane. And it's funny that at the age of 50, I'm finally learning enough about nutrition to feel good about what I'm doing. Like, and I've always been sort of a successful person, really driven and stuff. But the one thing that's bothered me has been like, I haven't figured out how to eat like a grown ass adult. And now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I feel confident that this weight's coming off slowly. I don't know how far it'll go because I do have, stage 3 lipedema, but I did everything I could, right? I'm exercising, I'm eating better. Maybe someday I'll be able to say with confidence that I eat right, but I'm eating better. And we'll see if that helps. So to wrap all this stuff up is we switched to grass-fed eggs and beef, and we are reducing our sugar intake significantly, and we stopped drinking pop, right? That's a big one for us. So Take a look at this book, man. It's not as hard of a read as I thought it was. I just had to be in the right headspace for it. And there's a lady that's in my Sugar Mamas group who, when I did the final interviews, when I was writing this book that's about to come out here in April, Terry, she told me, she's a little bit older than me, like maybe about 15 years older than me, and she told me that she had done really well. She switched to eating just real food, like not processed packaged crap. She didn't get hungry, blah blah blah. And she's so happy about it. She's like, I'm losing weight, I'm feeling better, and I feel like for all the years that I wasn't eating well, I robbed myself of good times with my body. Like, she's been suffering with her lipedema really badly and mobility and stuff like that. And just the 6 months of change of her really focusing on eating well, she's not obsessed with it or anything. She just switched what she's eating, right? She feels like she's getting her life back and the quality of her life is so much better. So that's important. And I'm going to take this whole conversation full circle. I know that nutrition is a banned subject in the lipedema world. I realize that, and I feel that way too because I've been fat shamed. I've been on all the diets. I've had lap band twice. Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers. I gained 17 pounds on Weight Watchers. I gained 64 pounds as a full-on vegan for 5 years. I gained 64 pounds. So I've tried it all, but never without eating a bunch of packaged processed foods. And I think that that's really the key to it. So I'm telling you this, not because I'm fat shaming anybody. Obviously, I'm still over 300 pounds. I'm a big girl, you know. But what if we could change the quality of our lives by just making a swap? Not eating less, not feeling, I don't feel guilty if I eat a regular egg. Like, sometimes you're out, you're on a drive or whatever, you got to eat breakfast. But when you can, make the change, right? Put more omega-3s in your body. That's all I'm saying. Don't feel guilty about what you eat, though, you know? Anyway, so there you go. I hope this helps somebody, and I hope that you're open to receiving the news because it is something you can do today without seeing a doctor. There's no doctor in the world, no diet in the world that's going to tell you making a switch to grass-fed products is bad for you. And there's absolutely no diet on the planet that's going to tell you you need processed sugar because our bodies can't use it. We cannot use the types of sugar that are in these processed foods. So, you know, that's one thing I feel 100% confident in is cut your sugar, make the switch. Eat sweet stuff if you want to, but get it from fruit sources instead of this processed crap. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.